Well, Ronnie Barrett, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. Great talking to you tonight.
Well, it's just like I said, a pleasure to be here. It's always good to get in front of a bunch of good, like-minded people, and the gun people are the best ones to be.
Absolutely. Well, we were talking on the show last night about President Obama's comments to small business owners. Basically, all that hard work that you put into building that business, you didn't really do that. And as we're talking about this, it just came to me. I thought, I want to know what Ronnie Barrett thinks about this. I mean, you founded Barrett Firearms. You put how much blood, sweat, and tears into your company?
It was years for me to be an overnight success, and it's funny. You do have a partner in it, and that's the government taking its taxes out of it. But they weren't there when I owed millions, and they weren't there when I first tried to do the investments and everything. But by golly, they're here when you're finally making something and taking it and giving it to people that didn't earn it. And and what Obama had said here with the you didn't do this. This is not new stuff. The world has heard socialist people try to sell this game for decades. It's the same thing that was said in Europe in the 30s and the things like that. If you'll listen, I went back and listened to his whole talk on that, and the whole thing is that you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. You're only going to be able to do it if we share. And your problems of you not having any money is really this rich man over here, and we're going to take from that rich man and give it to you. And of course that identifying a problem thing, we've seen that in history too. You always have to identify some sort of group
right.
that is the problem for you. And you can go back and, like I said, look in Europe in the 30s and see how their groups were identified. And of course Obama's not doing it as much as John Edwards did when he was running in his campaign, saying that this rich man is holding you back. But that's what you always have to do. You have to target this guy and tell him that your problems are theirs and that you must depend on the government. And where does that get all us gun owners? What do we have to do with this? You cannot have good socialism with independent mind-thinking people walking around with guns. Gun owners do not make good socialist followers. They are responsible people. They get things done. They're not dependent on the government. So when we hear this stuff, when we hear the president talking about his program for socialism and everything, we just don't fit in.
Well, I think you've got a great point with that, Ronnie. And you talk about, you look at the firearms community, how many small companies are out there, guys that get started in their garage and are able to, ultimately build something that can provide for their family, that their children can take over. That kind of success story, that kind of entrepreneurship, I think we see throughout the firearms industry. But you're right, I think the government hates that.
Well, the original government that our founding fathers set up loves it because that's what they wanted you to be.
Yep.
They wanted you to be self-sufficient, hardworking, get out there, you keep what you've earned. But see, that flies in the face of socialism. So entrepreneurship and things like that is got to be the enemy of the socialists, of the Obama folks and things like that. You can't have those guys walking around. The Obama people or the socialist people, they have to have people solely dependent on the government and sucking on its tit, if you'll forgive the expression. But that's what it's all about. This is about people control. And so Obama's up there, and it blew me away to hear the people applauding what he was saying. I thought, did you never pay attention to history?
Yeah.
Don't you know we have heard this before? And it always ends up in collapse or millions of people dead.
Well, I got to tell you, Ronnie, the comments really took me back as well. And Michael Barone, who's probably one of the smartest political writers, says he sums it up this way. He says Obama believes that success is a gift from the government.
Yes.
As opposed to you putting in the sweat equity, you putting in the long hours, and you being able to make a success of yourself. That can't happen in Obama's America. The government has to be involved, and the government ultimately has to get the credit for your success.
The people out there were lapping it up, and they were applauding it. And like I said, that way of thinking is I hate to say your enemy, but it is the enemy of the entrepreneur. It's the enemy of the self-reliant person, and most of those people have guns in their pocket.
Could you have built Barrett Firearms if that was the mindset, in the executive branch, both in the state of Tennessee and up in Washington, D.C.?
No, when you have the government telling you can't do things by yourself. How are we going to graduate any new brilliant people out of universities when our president is standing up there telling us that they can't do it by themselves? They have to have all these other people. This is just sickening. It is sickening. I can't think of much more that would be more disgusting. So, I'm glad. I'm glad I came up in the day that I didn't pay attention to the people that said I couldn't do that. And if you look at all people that did change things, the things that were invented or created or something like that, those folks didn't listen to folks, to discouraging people like that. I still have the American spirit, and a lot of other people here still have the American spirit, and it's not going to be diminished by this guy.
Absolutely. Hey, Ronnie, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. Really appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Cam.
Ronnie Barrett, the founder and president of Barrett Firearms, joining us here on Cam and Company.